everybody, how's it going? Steve here, and I thought I'd answer a couple of questions about Island Designer in a quick video. I built a couple test scenarios here so I could show you real quick, and then I'll discuss some more in-depth stuff. Here we're looking at a moat, a very small moat, but a moat nonetheless that I built around a villager's house. So you can see that they are completely surrounded by water, and I know it's small, you can still jump over it, so can the villagers. You should be able to build a moat of any size, though. They're never going to error you out and tell you that you can't. Another popular question I had seen was whether or not you could wrap a waterfall around a cliff, and the answer to that is no, you cannot. If I get my waterscaping permit out, when I try to dig at the corners of the cliff, I'm unable to break those down. And you can't build a waterfall from ground level either, so you're kind of stuck this way. Now, what happens when, and the reason why is because if I were up here and I built a waterfall that wrapped all the way around, I would be then unable to get down, and I'd be unable to climb up as well. And just to further prove that, I'm going to go ahead and get my waterscaping permit out, and you can see I just bounce off the corner there. And anyway, I accidentally sealed that up, but I'm going to go ahead and cut to some generic footage here, and I'll go ahead and discuss some more in-depth scenarios. So one of the popular questions is, can you make your island completely out of water with just a small strip of land on the outside? And the answer is no, not really, or at least not with a tremendous amount of work, because in order to do that, you cannot have any obstacles in the way. That means no houses, no trees, no rocks, and no plants. And while I can't discuss how you get Island Designer, I can say by the point that you have it, you will have several villagers living on your island. So there will be houses kind of dotted all over the place. And while you can pay to move houses, they take up a substantial enough amount of space that you can't place them near the beach. And the beach is an important limitation here. You cannot waterscape on the beach. So you can't extend the sea out further towards the land, and you can't extend your freshwater towards the sea. Once you get within one block, as it were, of land before the beach, you lose the ability to use waterscaping or to build cliffs. You can't build right up to the edge of the beach. You'll be told that you're too close. Another thing I've been asked about is how high you can go with building cliffs, and each island actually already has a cliff that is of the maximum height. So if you find the highest point on your island, you can actually build above it, but you won't be able to climb up there. It will actually tell you that it's too high for you to climb, even if you have your ladder and you're able to reach those heights. It'll tell you that it's just too tall. So there's really no value in trying to like build a tower or a mountain. You can't really do that. So the tools are a little bit limited, but you can still do a whole lot with these. You can extend your rivers, for instance. You can make them much wider. You can have waterways that go through your town, and as long as they're about 2 blocks wide, you can still jump over them without a pole. Any wider than that, and you'll need your pole to vault over the river. Another limitation of the cliff construction permit is that you cannot break down a cliff if you're getting close to the edge of a cliff that lies on top of it, or any object for that matter that lies on top of it. So even if there are flowers near a cliff that you're trying to break, it'll tell you that if you break it, the flowers will fall on you. Or if you break it above a tree, the tree will fall on you. So those are things that, again, to do anything with either of these permits, your ground has to be completely clear of objects. And by the time you unlock these, you're likely to have a lot of objects around your island that you've placed or that have naturally grown. So it's basically, I don't want to say impossible, but very difficult to cover your island in mountainous terrain or completely in water. And I don't, like I said, you definitely can't cover your island completely in either of these, but if you got really ingenuitive, you could cover a huge portion. Like, for instance, if you wanted to center all your houses in one portion of the island and then build water out completely from that point, you wouldn't be able to get 100% coverage, but you would be able to definitely destroy a significant portion of your island and have it in water. If you saw during my island tour, I had one of my cliffs completely destroyed, and it was just a body of water at that point. So it is something you can do, just with some, albeit with some limitations. And of course, the same restrictions for waterscaping on the beach go for cliff construction as well. You can't construct any cliffs on the beach. You can't do anything like adding stuff to the beach. Is basically completely untouchable from an island designer perspective. The most you can do with the beaches in this game is to put furniture up on them. You also cannot construct paths on the beach. Although compared to the cliff construction and the waterscaping permits, paths are a lot easier to deal with. You still have to have clear ground, but it feels like, you can put them right up against a tree, for instance. You don't need to be far away from a tree to do it. There seems to be a 1 square buffer around a tree for the cliff and the waterscaping permits, where you cannot place anything. So even if you're in a square next to a tree, you cannot put water there, and you cannot raise a cliff there. And the reason for that is that trees drop items, and they need to be able to have tiles around them to drop items. The same thing goes for rocks, where you cannot place cliffs or water next to rocks, because if you hit them with your shovel, they need a place for whatever comes out of them to land. The reason that the roads are so much easier is because the roads are just modifying the actual ground. So you can still drop stuff in the middle of a road that you create, whereas you can't do that with the cliffs, and obviously you can't drop items into the water. So I hope this quick look answers some of your questions about the Island Designer app and how it works. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'll go ahead and take a look and try to respond personally to as many as I can. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to Game Explained for much more on Animal Crossing New Horizons and all other things gaming as well. I'll see you next time. Bye.